you know, it's since the incident in Manhattan, all these people building. So it's like obviously you're talking about the fact that aliens just came out of the sky and just wiped out Manhattan, like just knocked down all the buildings and just called it a day.
That's a damn. I hate the ungratefulness from like when they go from the end of the first Avengers, and the guy's just like, it's like they have to be responsible for what was done to the city. Where are they now? Like who just saved you?
Like who just saved like the lower part of New York State from being blown up from a nuclear bomb that you guys dropped on Manhattan? Like
you're still ungrateful. It's made me so mad. Oh my god. Oh, so yeah, these should be like the last few questions. So like, I mean, this is straightforward, but I guess it could be interpreted in multiple ways. So like when Doctor Strange is like, we're in the end game now. What would that? I mean, I guess we kind of know what it means, but it's still kind of vague because we don't know the plot, or they deviated from the comic books, I guess.
It's like it's. I guess it's his way of saying, all right, so now that everything has happened the way we need it to happen. Because remember he's got like those 14 million whatever ways that he saw, and only one way is possible is going to happen, and that was, I guess he's set in motion, like that this was going to happen, like this is the one that we're going to win. I've set this in motion, so now we're just going all the way towards the end. Like there's no other way. This is the ending. This is how it's going to work, and with being too vague about it, because everything he says is ridiculously vague.
Yeah, I guess he must not be able to tell them as far as when he goes through everything anyway. He must not be able to tell them. And I guess there's a narrative of people don't like, I mean, you have to look into it hard. Just like you have to look into, and I'll probably ask that later. You have to look into like whenever like there's some background like paintings or whatever, and it'll show like other characters for like the comic book fans.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever. So you have to look into the narrative of like sacrifice. I didn't realize it was a big thing because they don't want to sacrifice Vision for greater good. Thanos ultimately wins because he throws Gamora off the thing. And then Doctor Strange has to sacrifice for, Iron Man. And they just don't want to do it. They're like, we're not trading lives in this whole thing. So, can people even pick up on that? Because it took like YouTube videos to like go through everything.
I mean, certain things it makes sense. Like certain things, it was like, yeah, it makes sense for them to say we don't trade lives. Like for example, the obvious one being Captain America. I mean, he fought. I mean, his first movie obviously is World War II, and his thing was, I'm not in the business for trading lives, but I'm gonna lay my life down I'll sacrifice my life to make sure that the people are safe. Like his whole thing was fighting against like the Marvel Comics version of the Nazis, obviously Hydra. And so him having that same mentality, it's like, all right, that's an obvious one, whatever. But certain ones, it's like you kind of have to notice it. Like you got obviously Thanos is willing to sacrifice to make his dream a reality, but the fact that Doctor Strange sacrifices the thing that his life is sworn to protect for a guy who he just met, personally, like fucking 6 hours beforehand, just doesn't make sense. People have to realize like that the theme is really sacrifice, and it's been sacrifice in these films for the last 10 years. Because that's what Marvel has been doing, trying to show that these characters have a harder decision to make that we couldn't make, and that's why we keep coming back. Because like, why would you do this? I would have done this, and everybody argues about the sacrifice. But yeah, I think sacrifice is something that you have to. Certain characters, you gotta like watch the YouTube videos and stuff like that to understand what's going on.
And people forget that Heimdall did the first sacrifice. Actually, I guess Heimdall. I mean, Loki's. His is less noble, but like people forget that Heimdall did his sacrifice by putting the Hulk there. So he was probably.
Yeah, he saved Hulk and essentially killed himself.
Yeah, and that's just like crazy. And you see Loki still like evil, like about to let his brother die, and then he fakes the sac. I guess he faked his sacrifice because he was gonna kill him. As if he didn't just see the Hulk just get beat up, but he's basically himself. But do the comic books readers, do they really notice like some of the background? Like I guess like in the Guardians, like the duck is a thing, or whatever. And like the collector has a bunch of like like space dogs, which are like big in the thing. So
certain ones we recognize. Like I like Cosmo, it's the dog. I was like, oh shit, like you know what I mean? Like there's certain ones that like you pick up on it and everybody laughs because we know most people know Howard the Duck. It was Steven Spielberg movie. It was absolutely terrible. In the comic, he was like his own little wisecracking, like he was a jackass, really. But yeah, some people like certain ones people pick up on, like I picked up on, but there are certain ones that it's just like you got to go back because some things I obviously haven't read, so I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like people are going crazy about it, so I got to read about what this means and this and that, and I go back and I read like the Wikipedia or I watch YouTube videos. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. What is this? So there's certain ones that people like me will pick up because I read certain things, and there are things I don't pick up on because I don't read. Like I haven't read like a crap ton like certain people who are like, going on Twitter going, oh my god, this is amazing.
It gets crazy to like when I'm like going through all the theories and everything, and they said like Thor's vision actually predicts the whole film from the Age of Ultron thing.
Holy shit!
And
right.
it didn't even. So the guy I know you've seen the video. The guy goes through it. It's one of I can't remember the channel, and he says like because they put her like they put them through the visions and everything, and Natasha's character like sees like when she had to kill someone, and then people walk by her. It's like two children walk by her that she'll never have, and they're like they don't have any faces or they don't have any eyes or whatever, and it's like blindness in the face of evil, something like that or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like I didn't even pick up. It's all quick, so you don't really pick up on that or whatever.
Oh yeah, like there's certain like it's really quick. There's certain things I didn't pick up on half that stuff from Age of Ultron. Like, the only time it actually made sense and like we saw like actually things that was like easy for me to pick up on was when Stark told everybody, he's like, I saw my vision. It was like, what was it? It was the end of everything. Like we were all dead. Like everybody died and it was my fault. I was like, all right, that now I can understand at least that part of it.
Yeah, and that's crazy to me that even Captain America, like he's dancing with everyone, and then everyone disappears and they disappear in the thing, and Peggy ends up dying anyway. But
so sad.
and I'm like wow, like, this stuff's all coming full circle. And then they even have like the bonus extras where Thor's voice is like the voice of a witch or something when he's talking to Selvig or whatever. Which I need to like when I get the chance I'll just buy all the bonus things or whatever. So. But like that's just they really